We've been in Italy for about a week. We've been driving around Italy with Justin's parents. It's been a lot of fun. In a few days we'll head to the heel of the boot and we'll work on a farm for a week.
Our first stop was to Pico in the Lazio region. Pico is one of those picturesque, sleepy, tiny, hilltop medieval villages. Exactly what we wanted. For me, these are the highlights of Europe.
We took multiple day trips while we were staying in Pico. One of them was to Casamari.
At the Abbey of Casamari, we had the fortune of dropping in on a service of some significance. The Abbey was celebrating an anniversary, and the featured guest of the day was Pope Francis's Secretary of State, a very senior cardinal.
After Casamari, we drove to Veroli to search for an ancient calendar. And although it might have been a bit underwhelming in person, the special Roman calendar from the 1st century was very significant as it showed the fasti, or good fortune days, and the nefasti, of unfavorable days. We stopped for some paninis and drinks in the quaint village and then explored an incredible church in a quiet square. All of it so picturesque.
Later in the day, we ventured to Arpino, another gorgeous hilltop village, where I sent the drone up to take in the beauty of Golden Hour. The great thing about the drone is that you never know just what you'll see. I mean, you have some idea, but oftentimes you look at the screen and realize it's even more spectacular than you thought it would be. Back in Pico, Vivian got her hands dirty making fresh fettuccine, which we would all eat for dinner that night. It was awesome.
Fettuccine.
Her teacher, Simona, is an excellent chef and spoke only Italian. Even so, Simona was able to guide Vivian. I'm still waiting for Vivian to make me some more of that fresh fettuccine.
Another day trip that we took was to the Abbey of Monecassino, and this probably was the highlight of our entire time in Pico. This abbey was incredible. The story behind it, the history behind it is just truly amazing. This abbey was demolished 4 times over the course of its existence, and when we visited, it was so calm and I felt like it had a lot of meaning. I think part of what made it so special also was the incredible mosaics that were there. We intended to check out the War Museum, but it was closed on a Saturday. Here's a travel tip for all of you, as obvious as it may seem. Always check for the opening days and opening hours for any attraction or even any restaurant that you may want to check out. Chances are that it's closed on the one day that you plan to go visit, and it's super frustrating. After 3 busy days of sightseeing and specially curated meals, we left Pico and drove back towards Rome and stayed a night in Frascati, historically a place where the Roman aristocracy, including popes and cardinals, would build beautiful summer villas to escape the chaotic summers in Rome.
In Frascati, we stayed in a strange but awesome villa turned hotel called Villa Toscolana at the top of a hill which overlooked Rome in the distance. Our room was only 46 euros for the night. It included breakfast and was a great location for another drone flight. I like to call this place the Grand Frascati Hotel. Vivian wrote about it in her blog post, but I'd like to highlight it again here. There's a really fun and unique thing to do for dinner in Frascati, which is to go to the local shops, pick up your various food items, and take your food to a wine establishment where they only sell wine and water. It's basically BYOF, bring your own food. Frascati is famous for its white wine and porchetta, which did not disappoint.
So we left Frascati and passed through Ravenna and spent a quick 24 hours in Venice, which has been a bucket list item of both me and Justin. Hey everyone, welcome to Venice. Even though it was raining, it was still really cool to wander the streets. There are a lot of tourists in Venice, unfortunately. There aren't any cars or trams or or motorbikes or mopeds or donkeys. The foot traffic slows you down at times, as you can see here. We decided last minute to purchase some really reasonable tickets at the opera. So we watched Madame Butterfly at Le Grand Teatro al Fenice. The opera was incredible. I spent every minute hanging over the edge watching the performance. It was a really incredible experience to see an opera in Venice. The next morning, the rain had cleared and the sun was coming out, which made for an amazing sunrise. We flew the drone over San Marco Piazza and we flew it down one of the canals. It was really incredible footage, as you can see here. We did have a little bit of a scare where the camera was going a little haywire. Got a little nervous, but all went well and we got our drone just fine. Made for some really stunning footage, as you'll see. So after Venice, we made our way to Siena, which is where we are right now. Here's Siena. We're sitting in the Piazza El Campo. There's a lot to do in Siena, but Justin and I basically just wandered the streets and walked up and down the very hilly streets of this old city and had some really great meals. Our Airbnb has the most incredible views. We overlook all of the rooftops of the center of town, right at the Duomo, and sunset was incredible. The colors of the skies and the clouds, you had the pinks and the blues, and yeah, it was really beautiful. Siena is a bit touristy and there are some crowds, but it clears out at night, and if you come during the off season, I think you'll really enjoy your stay. Last but not least, we visited Ostia Antica, Rome's ancient port city. This ancient port city is where the river Tiber spills into the Mediterranean Sea. We arrived to town and went straight for the old town to explore Castello di Giulio, as well as the ruins of the ancient port. We decided not to spend €8 each to walk around the ruins, but instead flew the drone for a bird's eye view.
This was the final night we would spend with my parents, before Vivian and I would go off on our own. We would begin this next chapter with a 6-hour train ride to the heel of the boot, where we would meet our woofing host, Tina. Or at least we would hope.
Fortunately, Tina was waiting for us as planned, and she put us to work in the almond and olive groves the very next day. So stay tuned for more on our first woofing experience in Ostuni, Italy, in the heel of the boot of Italy. It's been amazing so far and everything that we've hoped for. And here we are standing on the roof of a 400-year-old farmhouse, which is where Tina lives and where we've been staying and doing our laundry. Allora. Gelato. Allora.
Here it comes. Right on time, buddy.
Today we're in Siena. There's a cat on the roof. Sorry.
Viv.
I got distracted.